Yes, believe it or not, we're talking about power tools, but not in the way that you think. Hey, I'm Jimi Hendrix, and this episode is called Power Tools on Empower Your Pattern 2.0. I'm Jimi Hendrix, Success, Confidence, and Thrive Coach, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and founder of the James Hendrix Empowerment Network. I believe that our patterns help us receive more, help us live a better and extraordinary life right now. In this podcast, I wish to give you these spiritual and temporal tips, help you overcome the adversities of everyday life, and step into the life you always wanted. So if you come with me, I will show you these patterns. So come on with me, and let's go on. Let's have fun. How is everybody doing? It is kind of overcast, almost rainy day here in West Texas area. I believe this is the time of year that college students start going back to school, and I am cognizant of that, and I wish y'all well. I wish y'all very well. I really do. But, many of you know that my target audiences are going to be college students who desire someday to be entrepreneurs. Maybe some who do in some ways have that desire, but don't necessarily have the direction they need also. And even those like me that are older, like in transitions, I'm happy to help also. But primarily college students. Now, you're probably thinking, power tools, what in the world? How about you sit with me, and I will help you develop. We'll talk about these power tools, if you're ready. Okay, so, let's go do this with a take no prisoners approach towards empowering entrepreneurs. Okay, so power tools. We're going to give you the first five. These are power tools that are kind of like values and concepts from my book, The Winning Personality, a value-based approach to entrepreneurship in this economy. Okay, the first one is the ambivert personality. Okay, we all know that the winning personality of an entrepreneur is not an introvert or an extrovert in the extreme. It's somewhere in the middle. It's an ambivert. And the ambivert desires to change, evolve, working on improving himself or herself in this combined age economy. I mean, you see it and I see it. Now, I think the term ambivert has been around for quite a while, a lot longer than I had originally discovered it. I discovered it about 7.5 years ago in 2015 when I started working on my book. An ambivert is in the middle of the introversion, extroversion spectrum. You've got your famous people that are within that spectrum that I'm going to guess. John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, Theodore Roosevelt, Donald Trump to some extent, to name a few. People who are charismatic, but also don't mind using a little bit of reserve in order to work on their dream. Okay? So now, you have that tool. The second one is leadership. And I know the thesis of John C. Maxwell when he's talking about influence, that it doesn't necessarily leadership doesn't necessarily tie into entrepreneurs, but it can be said that entrepreneurs who want to empower others, as long as they live correct principles as a leader, they can be considered as a good leader. See, there's a difference between There's a difference between leadership and management. Leadership is really so this century, whereas management is more of an, industrial age thing, kind of like a cog in the system, if you know what I mean. Whereas leadership, we're here to lift everybody up. We're here to make an impact, okay? We're here to make a difference. Okay? We're not here to fraud around. We're not here to fraud around. You're here to say what needs to be said and do it and have a little fun while we're at it too. So you see what I mean? It can be something less, kind of like easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But you have to know what type of leader you want to be. The third one is creativity. Any entrepreneur, I think, needs to have that creativity. Because one of the things I say when I coach an audience such as you guys is, look, success has patterns. And part of those patterns dictate that you have to be creative. You have to know where the next ideas are. Where good ideas come from. What zone you can perform in. You can't, don't get me wrong. You can perform in multiple zones, but which ones do you do best? And which ones do you do best, okay? Because anybody knows. Now, the third one. Yes, we're still dealing with creativity. I still want to work a couple minutes on those. You're probably going to be stuck with me for 15 minutes, and be ready. Now, here's with that. The beauty is, we have a chance to be creative. No, I don't know of very many entrepreneurs that are more scientific minded. Those that do, that's okay, no big deal. But those entrepreneurs is like, hey, these are the systems that we have set up, and these are set, and these don't, and we don't go beyond that. My business, my rules, and I run over whoever I want. That's not being creative. That's being stupid. And it's going back to the industrial model, which, to be honest with you, I have to be honest with you, it's stupid. Because so many people think, when they think of leadership and communications, some people in this distractive, defiant culture kind of wants to say, hey, we, in point of order, I used to call it reactive culture. I call it the distractive, defiant culture now. The fact of the matter is this, guys. That culture says, you do what I say. I do what I want. I get what I want, when I want, anytime. And that culture's been around. I've been sensitive of it to the past 30 years. But I know in some ways, in its genesis, it's been percolating since a long time since then. Perhaps even from the beginning of time. Okay, and any other time, I would, I go into the spiritual things. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think that this particular episode, when we're talking about power tools, at least until we get to number 5, we're not here to talk about what's wrong, what's right. You know what I mean? I'm just saying what I feel here. You being creative, you should get your juices flowing. You're an entrepreneur, most corporations, they have like skunk works. Whereas entrepreneurs, hey, you don't have a group of people, so you just sit there and brainstorm with your friends and all that stuff. With your creativity, you make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, if you know what I mean. You need to surround yourself with the right people, or it's not going to work. Number 4, discipline and determination. Some people wake up in the morning and they're like, oh, I don't feel like it. That's what happened to me yesterday, and sadly, I gave into it. And I just felt, by that evening, I was like, I can't believe I did this. Can't believe I caved into that feeling, because one thing I believe that Dr. Delatoro McNeil says is, the world is ran by people who don't feel like it, but they get up and do it anyway. Because I hear stuff, like, hey, I doctored when I was 4 years old. Kids were taught no hope of a regular education. Right before graduating from high school. Experts and counselors. Sadly, we know you want to go to college, but you'll never make it through college. You'll never make it through college. And you know what? I did it. Took me 7 years, but I got that dang college degree. It's kind of like I don't want to say to all those naysayers, who kept poo-pooing what I wanted to do. It's kind of, hey, how do you like me now that I have descrambled these eggs that are in my brain? Kind of like a polite but funny way of saying, hey, in your face. I did it in your face. Now, did I feel that way at the time? No. Sadly, I was struggling with some issues of my own then. And, of course, here in a little bit, we'll go into what I was struggling with at the time, really, quite frankly. Which, when I look back at that struggle, it was based on, stupidity. I learned about sad experience, but I learned from good experience too. Because you see, discipline and determination, that carries the day for you. That helps you in some ways determine what type of success you're going to have as an entrepreneur, as a person, in family, wherever, Instead of just laying there, like some sick little puppy saying, well, I don't feel like it. How crazy is that? It's idiotic. You don't want to play with that, if you know what I mean. You guys gotta forgive me. I'm warped sense of humor's coming out. Okay, enough. Number 5, ethics. Now, what are ethics based out of? And in universities and colleges, they teach you, well, it's just a bunch of gray and blah, 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 blah. Well, I have a podcast that's kind of political in nature. It's called the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm doing this little course called Public Affairs, Intro Public Affairs on that podcast. Talked about corporate social responsibility. Well, I wanted to find out what the Bible had to say about that. And some people are like, oh, what about those people who don't necessarily believe in the Lord? Who don't necessarily believe in those moral standards? You gotta believe in something. If you want to be a success as an entrepreneur, have faith in yourself. I believe in it, yes. But you gotta have something, beyond yourself to have faith in, to guide your standards and everything. Whether it's God or the process or whatever it is. But many of you know that I worship God, the Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, okay? Because that's how I received the answer to prayer and guidance. And so, your ethical standards, your morals, people think, well, they're not the same, but guess what? Here at James Hendrick Empowerment, they are. They are. And I know that's going to be an issue, but it is what it is. And why? Because Mama said so, and Mama didn't raise no fool. That's right, my friends. My dear sweet Mama, who is living in Wells Point, who's had some health conditions of her own, my Mama didn't raise no fool, and I'm very proud of the way she raised me. Now, I hope you enjoy listening to Empower Your Pattern 2.0. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of Pattern Realm. This is Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, guys, I hope you enjoy this Empower Your Power Entrepreneur series. Until next time, don't just sit there and take it. I want you to go out there and build your dreams so you can take it. Do what others don't so you can be what others won't. Do what others don't so you can step up and have what others can't. Choose, act, pursue happiness. God bless each and every one of you. Have a blessed day.